Okay, here's the third video in this series about Microsoft Office. The second one about save and save as is so important. Right now, again, this is Tech Lab rules. I'm going to just prove to you one more time about save. I'm going to click save as, but I really don't want to change anything. If I click save as, I get all this. But I really don't want to change the name or the place or the format. So if I click save, I'm going to get replace. I probably want to replace it, but what I should have done was I should have just gone and saved it, Command S. In this case, I'm going to go back to rules. I'm going to call it rules again. So I'm going to click save. I'm going to get rid of this, highlight, delete, and click it again. And here it is, ready to go. So the next thing we're going to talk about is spelling. And spelling's a problem because a lot of people can't spell that very well. And you have to understand how to use spelling in Microsoft Word. Now, if you look at this document, you can see some red squiggly, and red squiggly, red squiggly, red squiggly, and some green squiggly. That is telling you the computer does not understand these particular things. The spelling is in red, and the grammar, the English way to put words together, is in green. The computer doesn't understand it. Doesn't mean it's wrong necessarily. It's just that the computer doesn't understand it. So let's see if we can correct it with spell check. Spell check is under Tools, and it's the first one. So I'm going to click on Tools, and right away the first thing comes up is the first thing that has a red squiggly, which is supposed to be responsible. So it says this is not in the dictionary. responsible. Well, we know that's spelled incorrectly. So I have a lot of different choices. And generally speaking, Microsoft gives you suggestions. And I look here at the suggestions and I say, this is exactly how responsible should be spelled. And so I would like to change this mistake to this. So I could ignore it, or I could ignore all of them, or I could add something, or I could change, or I could change all, or I could autocorrect. For our purposes, most of the time you're either going to ignore or change. So I'm going to change this to this. I click, and you will see automatically on our Word document that responsible no longer has a red squiggly and is spelled correctly. So let's take a look. Now, the spell check goes on to there is no printing without express permission from the teacher. There is an extra space between this word. Here it is. And you can see it. Where is it? Right here. See the green? So here was the red squiggly. It was spelling. The next thing comes up automatically over here in spell check, and it's just a space that shouldn't be there. So I'm going to click right in here. Right in here, and I'm going to do one backspace, and now it's correct. There's nothing you can do here. So I will go on, and I'm going to click resume because now I'm ready for the next thing. Well, here's the next thing. If someone other than, well, I have that in, but I have a lot of choices here. I could put that, which I don't want. If someone other than the person, I want this one. Don't want this, or thin. So I'm going to click here, and now I'm going to click change. And notice it's blue. This is what Microsoft says you probably should do, but it really doesn't know because it's a computer. It has no brain. It's not smart. It's just electricity running through plastic and wires. You have the brain. You have to make a decision. I click there, and it goes on to the next one. Well, I spelled you wrong. Well, I got two choices. I'm going to use this choice, and I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to change it. And finally, not finally, but privilege is certainly spelled wrong. You have to know which one of these is correct. The computer doesn't know. It's giving you suggestions that it thinks might be correct. So I'm going to change that one. And finally, there's a comma use issue here, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to ignore it. And now it says the spelling and grammar check is complete. So let's take a look at our document. Wow, look at that. Pretty good. But if I put something in here that is spelled correctly but is not right, you still have to understand how to spell and what's correct in grammar. The computer only looks at it, based on the letters that are there. So the first thing you need to do is do a spell check by Tools, Spelling and Grammar, and then you have to read it over and double check it to make sure you have it correct. One last thing, if you have a name, for instance, which is probably not in the dictionary memory of the computer, it will automatically come up with a red squiggle. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's spelled wrong, it just means that the computer doesn't have it in its memory. So you have to be careful what you change and what you don't change. And the other thing is, especially with names, they'll come up with a red squiggle, and even though you know that you spelled it correctly, the red squiggle will be there. If you print this out, the red squiggles will not be there, nor will the green squiggles. So they're just for your purposes while you're on the computer and while you're on the screen, not when you go to print. I hope that clears up spelling. I'm going to move on to the next video after this. Thanks for watching.